All right, I guess we're here. Good evening, everyone. Hi, this is Bishop Ross Jackson here at Altar Talk. I'm here with Brother Steve Quinn today. We're glad that you guys could tune in. You know that every Tuesday from 6 to 6:20, Steve, we have this conversation. We come around the altar and have a conversation about many different topics. I'm excited about your topic today. Steve is coming to talk to us about foster care
Yeah.
and adoption, right?
Yes, yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
I tell you, that's something near and dear to my heart because I've had some experience with it. But we want to hear from you,
Sure,
man.
sure.
What got you and your wife involved in foster care in the first place?
So, to start with, it was really to expand the family.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
we came to a place where we couldn't have any more. We had a heart to do adoption. We had talked about it even before we got married, and we were at a place where we had our daughter. We had a previous son.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
but it was on our, we before we were married. It was something we discussed and talked about and planned that after we were done with our kids, we could
You were
look
going
at doing
to.
foster care adoption. And so that's how we got into it. We tried for a couple years after my daughter was born to have another child. Didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Wow.
And so we started the journey to go doing becoming what's called a resource parent with the county.
Okay.
So we went through Frederick County Social Services and went through the training to become what's called a resource parent.
Wow.
So and what that is a when they have a need to place a child, they have a resource. They have a group of resource parents, foster parents, if you want to call them that.
Right, right.
Um, and they will reach out to you and say, "Hey, we've got this child that needs placement. I don't know for how long."
Wow, you don't.
And so they will call you, but you have to go through a whole licensing process and
Okay.
training. Then they really vet people out to make sure that they're going to be good for children.
Yeah.
So we went through that process, and then we were going to go get our license, but then my wife went through. She found out she had cancer. So through her getting through that cancer, the surgery and chemo and radiation and all of that, and then once after a year or two of going through that process, then we looked at going back into getting our license and what we needed to do to get recertified and all that, and we did. And almost immediately, we had a child in our house.
Wow.
It
Oh,
was we got a call from social services and like, hey, we've got this child. We think he would be perfect with you all. I'm actually Caucasian, and
okay.
my wife's African American.
Okay.
So they had a biracial child looking to kiss with somebody,
Wow.
and literally the call came. I was at work down in Silver Spring. They called us. My wife called me and said, "Hey, they've got somebody." I said, "All right, well, I'll be home." And by the time I got home, an hour later, they had already brought the child over, and like here it is,
Wow.
first foster child.
Yeah. Let me rewind the tape a little
Sure,
bit
go
because
ahead.
I've had some, not personally, but
Yeah,
when I grew up, we had 14 foster children that had come through
right.
our house with us. So, how long were you guys married before you got that first foster child?
Um, I'm just trying to. I'm thinking of the
Roughly.
timeline
I
here.
don't want to get you
It
in
was
trouble
we.
now.
It's no. You won't get me in trouble. We got married. Um, so we were about 12, 13 years into our marriage.
Into your marriage. So,
Yeah.
so you guys had been established. You were
Yes.
solid in your
Absolutely.
marriage. You were ready, for that
Yes.
that new child to come to the nest.
Yeah.
Wow. And when you call, you rush home, and
Yeah. And he was there.
wow.
The workers had brought him there, and he was there in the living room, and he was with us.
Wow.
Now he was only with us for about 6 to 7 weeks.
That all.
For the first one, yeah.
Wow.
That was our first one. He turned a year old a couple days before he left us. So
Isn't that
got to have a party with him, and we're actually still in contact with his family. So my wife keeps in touch with his grandmother, and
so you still keep in
so
touch?
we still keep in touch. He's in, I think, kindergarten, first grade now. So
Isn't
he's
that
doing
something?
he's thriving, and that's just such a thrill that he's doing well.
Isn't that something? So that little short period of time, what's that like? What kind of pull is that on your heart when when you have
It's a big pool. It's tough. It really is tough.
to get them
I
and
mean,
have to let
I mean, if you're a father or mother, you know the joy of having that child,
yes, yes.
and it's the same, a very similar joy. You know, you didn't. Here's the difference is that you birth child, you've had 9 months to prepare usually,
Right.
right? This was a phone call in the morning. They're there that afternoon, and then you have to figure out where you're going to let them sleep. You're going to have to go get some clothes. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all
of that. 'Cause
So
you can't really prep because you don't know.
you can prep some,
Okay.
like we had like a crib already set up and things like that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you don't know how old the child's going to be when they come,
Oh,
or
yeah.
what they need.
It's,
I mean, generally what a child needs, but each child needs specific things. Like, so, medical conditions,
Right.
sleeping habits,
Right.
just, possible diet stuff, or,
Yeah.
Other, because they could have some kind of physical condition that you have to take care of. They could have some mental issues that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
So you really, you kind of need to be mentally prepared for that whole spectrum of possibilities.
So you never really know what
You don't know.
Yeah, and you sign up. All of the training that you guys did,
Yeah.
it prepared you for that. Any of those scenarios you just mentioned, right?
Yes.
So they told you, hey, you might get a child that has these challenges or this challenge.
Yes, and there's some, and you can ask certain, like for us, we had our daughter. We didn't want anybody older than our daughter, so we could kind of keep the birth order of our family,
Yeah.
for when these kids come in. So that was our only real stipulation
Yeah.
for that. But you can specify, what you want on
What
your
you-
order. But honestly, I just wanted to be available.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't it take a special heart? I mean, a special kind of heart to take someone else's child in and make them part of your family? How do you feel about that?
I think it does, but I think what's more important is just the willingness.
Okay.
Because you know as well as I do, God can make the difference up in any situation.
That's right.
He can make provisions. He can provide whatever it is needed. But if you're not willing, He's not going to do anything.
Right.
Bottom line is you got to be willing to set your goals. Because that is going to turn your world upside down
In a
in
certain
a
sense.
sense. Yeah, it changes the dynamics of your house.
Wow.
It changes because now you had 3, now you got 4, now or 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So you have to be prepared.
Let me ask.
And I don't know if you can really
Right.
go through it.
Right.
But you need to be aware that it's not like a TV show.
Right. It all looks good on TV.
It all looks good
right?
on TV, but
Right.
it's tough.
That's where I wanted to go.
It is tough.
I wanted to kind of fast forward, if we
Yeah.
could, to present day. So
Okay.
now, what's the situation now? What do you
So we've fostered. I think at this point we've had 6 kids come through our
got?
house.
Wow.
We've adopted 2,
Wow.
and we have a current foster child now.
Okay.
We're hoping that we can adopt. but we gotta wait and see. There's a process that we have to
You have
go
to go
through,
through.
but our hopes and desire is to adopt her as well. But we'll find out in the next 6-8 months
Yeah,
how
whether
that
or not
goes.
you can.
There is a process that going through the state or social services and stuff that you have to they have mandates that they have to follow,
Okay.
and their goal is to reunify.
Okay.
So
They
they
ultimately want to.
they want to reunify, but they need to go through their process
Make sure
to
the
make
conditions
sure
are
that
right.
if reunification isn't going to happen, they need to make sure that they've covered everything
Okay. Yeah.
before they change to a different direction.
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense.
It's very. I think it's a wonderful thing because if the parent wants their child back, they give them those means to help them get their child
To
back.
get them back.
So they may have to change some of the things that they're doing or have done, that kind
Right.
of stuff, and get
Sure.
themselves straight so that the child can be safe.
Right.
But they give them ample opportunity, I should say, to do that. And but if they don't, then things change.
They could move into the
So
adoption.
yeah, we've had, like I said, we've adopted 2. We've had one child that stayed with us for about 6-7 weeks. We've had 2 kids that stayed with us for
One night.
one night.
Wow.
Because they were in need.
Yeah.
So they needed somewhere to stay, and they stayed with us. And then the next day they were reunified with their father.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that was and I think when we talk about mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went in this thinking, oh well, we'll get another child,
Right.
But as we went through the training, my mindset changed because it wasn't about us just getting a child. It's about, hey, there's a real need out here
Right.
for these kids to have a safe place.
There you go.
And that's what we need to do, is
Yeah.
that, not be so concerned about us extending our
Ourselves.
family.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll let take care of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let us do what the calling is now at this time. This child needs somebody to take care of them.
I love that. I love that.
So in mindset, that's where we were. And when that first child left, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm sure it was. I remember as a child, or not a child, but kind of a teenager,
Yeah.
around 13 or 14. I think that's when I finally realized that, the foster children that came to our house weren't going to stay.
Yeah.
We'd make friends, we'd be playing with them,
Absolutely.
and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got to say goodbye. Say goodbye.
Yeah.
So I know you guys went through that same thing, and it is so pulling, I know for you, but you have tapped into the answer, which is you're here to help a child in need.
Absolutely.
And that's great. That is awesome.
Absolutely.
Foster care, adoption,
Mhm. And you
that's
can even include kinship care in that too, because there's a lot of grandmas raising grandbabies.
oh yeah,
And we don't really think about that, but that's a similar situation.
similar situation, yeah, because they're not going to stay. Not
They
really.
may stay, they may not. They may be just for a short period of time, maybe till they're an adult.
Exactly.
And they're in those same situations. I mean,
Wow.
they have those.
Do they have a
same-
program as well for
They do.
elders?
They do some kinship care stuff. I'm not real familiar with it. I don't know if they have to go through the same amount of training, but they do have some people come in for kinship care and
Yeah.
do that. So
Isn't that something? It's amazing how that the whole scenario is born out of a hope and a prayer and a need.
absolutely.
And God just turns it into something else that He needs for us to do, or for
Yeah.
you guys to do. That's just truly amazing. We haven't talked much about your wife. It takes two,
Yeah,
right? It always
and
takes
she's
two.
and she's amazing.
Is she
She's
really?
and a lot of the burden goes on to her, of course, as with any wife. I mean, but she's amazing. She's she's been through a lot of stuff too, And just like I was telling Patrick when I got here that she rushed to make dinner for us so I could eat before we left, and she's got the kids at home, and she is it's just a Proverbs woman.
Well, look, Proverbs 31,
That's
right?
it. That's it.
I would love to get you guys back here for another
Sure.
segment and just bring the wife, bring
I may
the
just
kids.
maybe I'll just send her.
Yeah.
She's more interested than me anyway.
No, I'll tell you, your topic is just one that, when you think about the world and where we are now and
Absolutely.
the things that are going on and how children are being abused and
Yes.
how they're just cast
And
away.
I feel like there's more of a need for the church to step up and be in that role,
Yes.
because the world isn't going to do it.
No.
And we can see the trends of how people are becoming more selfish.
Yeah.
And neglecting their children and things and there's a gap that someone needs to step into.
Yeah, and you're so right.
And the church needs to do that.
Yeah.
There's really no one else that will do that.
That's right. I mean, that's biblical, right?
Yes.
You said that you should care for the widows
Absolutely.
and the orphans, right?
Absolutely.
Well, these are those that have been orphaned by circumstance.
And if we look at our own situation, we're adopted into the kingdom.
That's right. That's right.
We're co-heirs with Christ, and
That's
that's
it.
only because we're adopted into that situation.
Wow. Isn't that something? So
It's
we
amazing.
in turn should do the same.
Absolutely.
Wow. I tell you, it is truly amazing. What an amazing topic. What an amazing heart that you guys have, that you and your wife have for just fulfilling your purpose in life. And I thank God, Steve, that we have folks like you that are not selfish but are selfless, and that will extend your home, extend your love for young people, for kids that really truly need it.
Yeah.
So I'm serious about you guys coming back. I want to meet the whole family. It has been just a gem to talk to you today about this topic. Again, we're talking with Steve Quinn here about adoption, about child care, even what is it when the older folks?
They call it kingship.
Yeah, kinship care. Kinship care. I mean, just a broad array of love, God's love going out to God's people. And you know what? If Jesus didn't, he had this special place in his heart for children, right? He said, suffer them to come unto me.
Absolutely.
So I know that he will richly reward you and your wife for what you guys are doing.
He has.
I want to ask you just to continue doing it and do what you've done. Thank you for coming to this platform.
Thank you for
and letting our audience know that this is something that the church
yes.
should be doing.
The church, yes.
All right. Well, great. I'm going to throw a quick plug in here for Christian Bible College and Seminary. For those of you looking for Christian education, we have that available here. You can reach us through the network, through the WFCC Broadcasting Network, and we will meet you again back here at the altar with another topic at another time. See you at the altar. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. All right. Yeah, I think this is going to play. Man, I appreciate you. We really do have a wife down here, man. Her experience. We always want, to try to get a woman's perspective.
Yeah, we just, it's tough when you have many kids, to get sitters and stuff like that, and my concern would be that you run out of